Hey, what's up? This is Todd Smith. I'm back with another video. In this video, I want to speak about Behringer. In the Trinity, I have the three synths. And after purchasing three mono synths from Behringer, what do I think overall about the investment? What issues have I had with the Behringer synthesizers? And just kind of an overall overview of what it's been like owning Behringer synthesizers for over a year now. Before we jump into this topic, I need to thank the patrons and viewers of this channel for support via Patreon, Bandcamp, and just the general views and you taking the time just to watch this content supports this content in massive ways, and I really can't thank you enough for the support. Jumping back into my personal experience with owning three Behringer mono synthesizers, I purchased my first Behringer synthesizer, the Model D, over a year ago. Then after that, I got the Neutron, which I've had for over 6 months, and then just recently within the last few months, I got the Pro-1. Now, price versus performance, honestly, the investment into the three Behringer units has been the best investment I've done for years when it comes to new gear. The sound and performance you get out of the Behringer gear for a price tag is really unbelievable. Now, I'm not the one to tout and say they're better than the originals or even equal to the originals, because in my opinion, that really isn't even relevant. If it even comes close or treads on the same ground and gives me lots of power for a good price tag, I am not picky in particular, and in fact, I have never heard many of these originals, so I'd never know. So just speaking about pure power and performance and sound per price tag, these things knock it out of the park, and that's the reason why people who love them, love them. Another big thing is form factor and build. For the price tag, again, they kill it. The size and stability of these synthesizers and just overall build quality for the price tag is really good. You're really just paying a little bit more than the Volca, a lot more size landscape in your machines, a lot more bigger size knobs, and you can tell that Behringer is taking the time to explore the best possible form factor for each of their machines and really investing a lot of time into research and development in these clones and trying to make the best possible form and build at the best possible price, which I feel that a lot of other synthesizer companies are looking over and not doing the best. And I feel this kind of gives Behringer an advantage in that field because they're really focusing on that aspect of their products. The only real issue I've had personally with Behringer products was with the Neutron. There was one time when I was switching around my gear, moving around the studio, that the power supplies got swapped between, I believe, the Pro-1 and the Neutron, but it might have been the Model D and the Neutron. Either way, the power supplies did get swapped and my Neutron did start acting a little funky. It's kind of like self-analyze mode, and the oscillators started acting really weird. The machine stopped making noises. But I noticed after I looked it up that I switched the power supplies and that might have caused the issue. And since I switched them back, I've had zero issues with the Neutron or any other Behringer synth. So I do recommend, if you own multiple Behringer synths, don't think that the power supplies will make all of them act normal, because I did have some issues with the Neutron when I mixed it up with a power supply from another Behringer mono synth. The last thing you ever want to do is cause damage. Luckily, it doesn't feel like I had any damage done to this machine. It's been 100% stable since then, but if I kept it in there, it could have done damage, so I figured I would tell some people who might have multiple Behringer synths and move them around the studio so they can be careful with that aspect. After getting a 3 Mike from Synth & Wood was nice enough to send me a kind of beta version of his 3-tier stand wooden rack, and since then it has just made me use these Behringer synthesizers even more. Honestly, before the rack, my 3 Behringer synthesizers were spread across the studio, and it was very rare I would turn all 3 on at the same time because it was hard for me to really interact with all 3 fluently. Once they were all into one vertical stand, I could put them in a really accessible position. The amount of times I've touched the Behringer synths and how often I turn all 3 of them on is much more often, pretty much every single time I turn on music. So that is something I really need to recommend to people, that if you have a setup where your stuff is kind of spread out, if you're investing into multiple Behringer mono synths, you might want to invest into some multi-tier vertical stand, because I found that really helps the accessibility and functionality and just being able to play these synthesizers. But overall, I have to give a solid thumbs up to my Behringer Trinity, because these 3 synthesizers that I've invested into Behringer make me want to invest more. Now that I have had 3 Behringer synthesizers and I've used them pretty heavily, I can strongly recommend getting these products if there's something you've been considering. I will be getting more Behringer products in the future, and thank you so much, Yuli, for the project, and thank you so much, everyone at Behringer, for the amazing products you've pumped out in the last few years and the amazing products that will be coming out in the next few years. And as always, stay positive, stay creative, support each other, in peace.